can!
It's over!
He's done it again! Unbelievable!
Oh, straight into the roof of the net.
Nice one.
Straight down the middle. So a good performance from both teams.
Hi, welcome to Firstpost. I am Rupha Ramani. Let's get the show started. On the show today, Harry Brook's ban has sparked reactions the world over. Was the IPL governing body fair in banning Brook for 2 years? Well, his compatriots, England cricketers, feel he deserved this. What is IPL trying to make Brook an example of? More on the show on this. Magnus Carlsen has once again made a dramatic statement. He says he's the best and there is no opponent currently who can motivate him to compete in FIDE events. What does this mean and what's the reason behind him ditching FIDE events? And Donald Trump does it again. If the Kremlin is to be believed, he has okayed Russia-USA sporting ties, starting with ice hockey. A lot on that up ahead, but first a look at the headlines on Sports 360. Starting with cricket and the Indian Premier League, the match between Lucknow and Kolkata on April 6 is likely to get rescheduled owing to security concerns. The Cricket Association of Bengal has requested BCCI to move the fixture to a later date because the match is clashing with Ram Navami, a Hindu festival celebrations. There are concerns of lack of police force for the match. Onto football, Serie A might consider hosting the Italian Super Cup in India, an event hosted between winners and runners-up of the league and domestic cup. Serie A's marketing director says this is to broaden the tournament's global audience. The last edition of the Italian Super Cup was hosted in Saudi Arabia. In tennis, former world number 1 Naomi Osaka survived a scare at the Miami Open. The 4-time Grand Slam winner lost the first set against Yulia Starodubtseva and trailed 2-4 in the second. Despite this, Osaka bounced back to win 3-6, 6-4, 6-3. Meanwhile, the Professional Tennis Players Association, or the PTPA, has filed a lawsuit against tennis's governing bodies, ATP, WTA and ITIA. PTPA, which was co-founded by former world number 1 Novak Djokovic, has accused the bodies of anti-competitive practices and a disregard for player welfare. The governing bodies, on the other hand, have hit back at PTPA for not having any meaningful role in the sport. And summing it up with news from NBA, Golden State Warriors, without the services of Steph Curry, beat Milwaukee Bucks 104-93. Jimmy Butler was the star of the show with 24 points and 10 assists. Curry skipped the game due to mental fatigue. The team wants Curry to stay fresh for the playoffs. Just a while ago, Harry Brook gave his IPL franchise a jolt, saying he was not going to play this edition of the Indian Premier League. He'd rather put his focus on England cricket. And while there have been strong reactions on a talent like Brook being banned for 2 years from the IPL because of this, the loudest voices has been that of England cricketers. Moeen, a former England cricketer who will play for Kolkata this season, says it had to be done because this withdrawal has put the Delhi franchise's plans in disarray.
It's not harsh. I agree with it. Any team that loses Harry Brook is messed up a bit, and they're going to now reject everything. A lot of people have done it in the past, and then they come back in and they end up getting a better financial package, and this kind of messes a lot of things up.
The IPL is the most lucrative league compared to all cricket leagues around the world. Franchises invest a lot during every season, not just on squads at auctions, but on the venues, advertising, and ensuring a successful and smooth IPL. The auction table and the players they buy are critical in the way they plan and their season and build their team, and how they intend to win the title. And for Delhi, Harry Brook's presence was crucial. With no Rishabh Pant, no David Warner, no Phil Salt this time, going by the lineup that they curated, Brook was going to play a key role in that batting order alongside seniors like KL Rahul and Faf du Plessis. This has clearly thrown their plans and equations for a toss. And it isn't just Moeen Ali who came in to defend IPL's new rules of punishing any withdrawal that isn't justified. Current England cricketer and a teammate of Brook, Adil Rashid, too said it was time IPL acted on such dropouts.
In the past, probably 5-10 years,
A lot of players have been selected generally and have pulled out. So that's why they're trying to stop it that way. When you put your name in and if you pull out, you know the consequences of it. So I don't think it's harsh.
And he's right. IPL has witnessed many such instances over the years of the biggest buys fizzling out because they just couldn't play the whole season for their franchise or they got injured instead. Classic cases that come to mind, of course, is Andrew Flintoff long ago when CSK picked him up, or the Jofra Archer conundrum that plagued Mumbai for a couple of seasons. While injuries are part and parcel of sport, and it is unfortunate when that comes up during or in the middle of an IPL season, what the organizers definitely want to clamp down on is the uncertainty these dropouts that do not hinge on injuries or any emergency leave the franchise and the league with. Earlier, a dropout would mean just missing the payment. The player would still play the next season and continue to be contracted with the franchisee that picked him. What BCCI and the IPL authorities are trying to ensure here is that every player, particularly the foreigners, take this league seriously. That they realize the only way they can get exemption is if they get injured or there is some huge emergency that they cannot miss. Hence, they will have to forfeit a huge sum, and the opportunity of getting it, a 2-year ban, is a considerable one to contest. For instance, Brook will now not get to play in the Indian Premier League till 2027 and forfeits a massive sum of $715,000 that Delhi bought him for. This is IPL's way of ensuring that cricketers the world over prioritize their league over any else. How will this affect the calendars, the national FTP of other countries, though, is what we will get to witness. Will that mean more cricketers choosing the league life over national duty? We'll have to wait and see. Trust Magnus Carlsen to kick up yet another raging debate. Chess's world number one has opened a can of worms. The Norwegian has ruled out a return to Classical World Championship, a format he had given up since 2022. The 5-time champion said he lacks motivation. And here's the kicker. He strongly feels none of the current crop can entice him to making a return. None are good enough to challenge the best. Carlsen says it's himself. Quite a bold remark, and you expect nothing less from the man who has stood up to authority constantly. A tiff that started with the Gene Gate controversy and developed into a massive row between Carlsen and FIDE. So one way to see this is Carlsen continuing his feud with the FIDE, especially when he says something like this.
FIDE's crown jewel is the Classical World Championship, right? That's what gives FIDE legacy and legitimacy, and none of US are going after that. I'm happy not playing the Classical World Championship. I'm kind of done with that.
Is that the only reason? Carlsen gave up on classical chess when he decided to not defend his title back in 2022. Back then, too, he said he lacked any sense of motivation, but many still felt the world champion would make his return after a break because the sport needs its number one player to participate in what is the biggest event for it. Looks like the war of words with FIDE has ended that possibility, put a full stop to that ever happening. There is no tangible way of Carlsen showing that he is better than the current crop of players, apart from just verbally saying it. Carlsen says the current generation isn't at the same level as he is. But maybe that really isn't the case. In the recent few months, chess has seen a massive revival and a global reach. The primary reason has been the rise of India in the sport. This without Carlsen even participating in many of the events. Following India's chess Olympiad win, it proved that India was a bunch of youngsters that can take on the world. The likes of Gukesh Domaraju, Pragyananda, Vidit Gujrati and Arjun Erigesi have proved time and again that they belong among the best in the sport. Some of these players are teenagers and yet are in the top 10. The current world champion, Gukesh, has seen a rapid rise and is currently third in the world. Arjun Erigesi is placed 5th. Pragyananda too has broken into the top 10. And Vidit Gujrati is still competing in the 24th place. And in addition to the Indian prodigies, there are the likes of Hikaru Nakamura and Fabiano Caruana, who have challenged Carlsen at the biggest stage in the past. So the quality is there. They just need to face each other to see who's the best. Now, I understand that Carlsen doesn't need to prove his supremacy to anyone anymore. His cabinet of silverware and the fact that he has remained at the top for years is proof enough. But in sport, it is not the past laurels that enforce the #1 tag. It is constantly evolving and continuing to win that really makes it so. Carlsen wants to do all of that, but in a parallel trajectory that doesn't involve the FIDE.
I'm not really very interested in what FIDE are doing. I'm sort of trying to do my things, being with the Esports World Cup, chess.com freestyle.
So the World Chess Championship is a no-go for Carlsen, but will he boycott the FIDE Rapid and Blitz Championship too? Or will he feel motivated enough to come and defend his title? One thing is certain, the sport will go on, even if Carlsen decides to do away with it. Trump had a long phone call with Russia's President Vladimir Putin. And while the two discussed pressing matters concerning the war between Russia and Ukraine, the topic that has piqued our curiosity and interest is that of reigniting ice hockey fixtures between the two countries. And Kremlin claims that Trump has backed Putin's idea of ice hockey matches between USA and Russia to resume. Is Trump using ice hockey to bring Russia back into the sporting fold? Because ever since their Ukraine invasion, the country has been sidelined in the sporting world. Furthermore, is the public fallout with Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky the reason behind all of this? Our next report tells you more.
Tensions between Russia and Ukraine are far from over despite the peace talks. US President Donald Trump, in fact, had a long conversation with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The major topic was supposedly bringing a ceasefire. But he went on to talk about the old ties between America and Russia instead. Not the political or trade ties, but sporting relations. The Kremlin says Trump has backed Putin's suggestion of bringing back ice hockey fixtures between America and Russia. America's National Hockey League, or the NHL, and Russia's Continental Hockey League, or KHL, have played exhibition games in the past. In 2008, the New York Rangers faced Metallurg Magnitogorsk. In 2010, the NHL had 2 games against KHL teams as part of its Premier Challenge Series 2. But ever since Russia's invasion of Ukraine, the relations between the NHL and KHL went into cold storage. The NHL advised its teams not to contact anyone from the KHL. A complete full stop was imposed like the rest of the sporting world did. Following the war, Russian players have been banned by the IOC, FIFA and other sports governing bodies, leading to Russia's sporting structure taking a massive hit. They were forced to play matches against lower-ranked sides among many sporting disciplines. So is it just Trump's newfound love for hockey that is the reason behind this? Or is the infamous White House meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky the real cause?
We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering all
position
these
to
questions.
dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly what
this.
you're
doing. I'm not
You're in
dictating.
no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
You
We're
will-
going to feel very
you will
good.
feel influenced.
We're going to feel very
I'm
good and
telling
very
you,
strong.
You will feel influenced.
You're right now not in a very good position.
After talks between Trump and Zelensky turned ugly,
And he happens to be right about
From the
it.
very beginning.
it comes as no surprise that Trump is using sports as a medium to build a bridge with Russia. The question here, though, is will it just be restricted to ice hockey alone? Or will Trump prove to be the means for Russia's re-inclusion in other sports as well? Because ice hockey might just be a starting point to a larger picture. The 2028 LA Olympics will be hosted in America. Trump would still hold the Oval Office when the Olympics are organized. During the Paris Olympics, Russian and Belarusian players were only allowed to compete under a neutral flag. There was no mention of Russia and Belarus owing to the war. But maybe with Trump deciding to back Russia over hockey, he might force the IOC to bring Russia back for the mega event. But how will the rest of the world react? The world stood united in banning Russia and used sports to serve as an example for something bigger. Will Trump's decision to back Putin's idea spark outrage in the sporting world?
Time for Last Serve. We take you to Cape Verde in Africa. The Wing Foil World Tour is underway with the only World Cup event in the wave discipline. The participants made sure the viewers saw some unique tricks. Take a look as the competitors cruise through some challenging waves. Stunning pictures there, but that does it here on First Sports. Thank you for joining, and I'll see you again tomorrow with fresh perspectives from the world of sport. Take care. Bye-bye.
Firstpost brings you the Ideas Pod at the Raisina Dialogue 2025, the largest gathering of global policymakers, thought leaders, and innovators, now on the fastest growing international news platform. Big ideas, big debates, big impact. Only at the Ideas Pod. Firstpost gives you front row access to the conversations that matter most. The Ideas Pod. Raisina Dialogue 2025 on Firstpost.
Do you think that Ukraine is at its weakest position?
This war is not about Ukraine.
Do you believe that your president was insulted? Yes or no question. Is Ukraine prepared to pay the price for that peace?
No compromises at the cost of territorial integrity and sovereignty.
Diplomacy will work?
Yes.
Do you think Russia will give up the territory if there is no ceasefire? Do you propose to keep fighting?
We are ready to resist.
Do you think there will be peace?
Many countries gave us 3 days.
President Trump said you don't have any cards.
We do not have another choice.
How do you keep fighting?
You ask me once again the same question.
Because you've not answered my question.
We have enough capacities to keep fighting.